Have you ever met someone whose presence changes everything in the room? Someone who doesn't just wait for life to happen, but commands it unapologetically. What if I told you that the way you handle yourself today could make her chase after you tomorrow? There is something almost magnetic about a person who knows their own worth, not because the world has validated them, but because they have decided that they are enough on their own. Too often, people spend their entire lives trying to gain approval, seeking recognition from others, chasing validation in every conversation, every social media post, every relationship. But here's the truth. When you live for someone else's approval, you shrink. You dim your light to make others comfortable. And in doing so, you become invisible to the very people who might have admired you if you had only stood tall in your own value. Self-worth is not something that can be handed to you. It is not something that comes from the compliments you receive or the attention you attract. It is a quiet, unshakable certainty that your presence, your ideas, and your existence matter, independent of anyone else's opinion. When you embody this, everything changes. The way you walk into a room, the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, it all radiates confidence without arrogance, humility without weakness, and strength without aggression. People feel it, even if they cannot explain it. They sense the difference between someone who seeks validation and someone who lives in self-respect. And self-worth is not only about confidence, it is about boundaries, about refusing to accept less than you deserve in every aspect of life. It is saying no when something diminishes you, even when it might please someone else. It is having the courage to walk away from situations, people, or conversations that drain your energy, knowing that your time and presence are too valuable to be wasted. Many people mistake kindness for weakness and compromise for love, but self-worth is the quiet force that allows you to give generously without losing yourself in the process. When you respect yourself, you set a standard that others instinctively follow. You stop asking for attention and validation because you have become the person who naturally commands respect. There is a power in this that cannot be taught. It must be felt, lived, and embraced fully. The more you internalize your value, the less you rely on others to tell you that you are enough, and the more your life begins to attract people who recognize your light and want to be near it. Living with self-worth also transforms the way you handle rejection and criticism. When your foundation is built on who you are rather than who others think you should be, opinions lose their power over you. You no longer bend, twist, or apologize for existing the way you do. You understand that not everyone will appreciate your brilliance, your energy, or your passion, and that is perfectly fine. Approval becomes optional, not essential. This shift allows you to engage in relationships and opportunities, not out of fear of loss, but out of genuine interest, curiosity, and alignment with your values. People are drawn to authenticity, and authenticity is impossible without a clear understanding of your own worth. It is the reason why someone who lives in self-respect becomes unforgettable. Not because they chase attention or approval, but because they emanate a quiet certainty that others cannot help but notice, admire, and often follow. Confidence is a language that everyone understands, even without words. It's the subtle way you carry yourself when you walk into a room, the calm steadiness in your voice when everyone else is rushing to be heard, the quiet assurance in your eyes that tells the world you know exactly who you are. People are drawn not to those who shout the loudest or demand attention, but to those whose presence alone commands it. Confidence is not about boasting or showing off. It is not about being the center of every conversation or proving your worth to everyone around you. True confidence is invisible yet palpable. It is the gentle force that makes people sit up and notice you, the magnetic energy that makes them want to lean in and listen, and the unwavering poise that makes even strangers instinctively respect your space, your opinion, and your boundaries. When you are confident, you do not need to explain yourself constantly because your actions, your posture, and your calm assurance speak volumes on your behalf. The most magnetic people are not always the most traditionally attractive. They are the ones who have learned to own themselves fully. They are unafraid of silence in a conversation because they know that words are secondary to presence. They smile without needing permission, laugh without fear of judgment, and hold their ground without being rigid. Confidence transforms every interaction into a statement of self-respect. People feel it when you do not apologize for existing, when you stand firm in your choices, and when you move through life without constantly seeking validation. There is a freedom in this kind of confidence, a kind of lightness that comes from understanding that you do not need to perform or impress anyone to prove your worth. And when you carry this energy, it becomes contagious. Others are drawn to it, not because they want to compete with you, but because they are inspired, comforted, and intrigued by the certainty that radiates from someone who fully believes in themselves. Confidence also shows in the small details that many people overlook. The way you make eye contact without flinching, the way you speak with clarity even when you feel nervous, the way you make decisions decisively even in moments of uncertainty, all of this sends a message louder than words ever could. People are attracted to certainty, to someone who knows what they want, who moves through life with purpose, and who does not crumble at every challenge. And yet, confidence is not the absence of fear. It is moving forward despite it. It is taking risks, embracing vulnerability, and standing tall even when the outcome is unknown. This is why confidence is irresistible. It is a silent declaration that you are capable, worthy, and unstoppable. When you combine confidence with authenticity, the effect is transformative. People sense when confidence is genuine versus performative, and nothing repels them faster than someone trying too hard to appear strong or successful. But true confidence does not need validation. It does not need applause or approval. It simply exists, and its presence alters the energy around it. People are drawn in, not by what you say, but by how you inhabit your own space, your own story, and your own potential. The quiet power of confidence speaks across every glance, every gesture, and every pause, creating an aura that is both captivating and unforgettable. There is something undeniably magnetic about a person who does not reveal everything at once, who carries a sense of depth that invites curiosity rather than demands attention. Mystery is not about playing games or manipulating others. It is about valuing yourself enough to understand that you are not obligated to be fully seen or understood by everyone immediately. It is about knowing that your life, your experiences, and your passions are yours to explore and express at your own pace. People are naturally drawn to mystery because it taps into the human desire to discover, to unravel, and to understand something rare and intriguing. When you maintain a sense of enigma about yourself, you create space for intrigue and fascination. It is the subtle pause before a smile, the soft answer to a question that hints at more beneath the surface, the choice to focus on your own growth and passions rather than oversharing every detail of your life. These small choices communicate strength and self-possession, and they make others lean in without realizing why. Living with mystery also means being unapologetically yourself, while not seeking constant validation or attention. It is the difference between revealing your story in full to anyone willing to listen and sharing it selectively with those who genuinely earn the privilege of knowing it. People are drawn to those who do not chase them, but instead live full, engaging lives of their own, because curiosity thrives in the presence of authenticity. Mystery is not about hiding who you are. It is about understanding that your life is not an open book for anyone to skim at their convenience. When someone senses that there is more to you than meets the eye, that your laughter hides untold stories and your silence holds depth, it creates a pull that is almost impossible to resist. It is the art of presence without neediness, of being fully there without over-explaining, and of allowing people to gradually discover the layers that make you extraordinary. There is also a psychological magic to mystery that cannot be taught. It is felt. People naturally value what is rare, what they cannot immediately understand, and what challenges their assumptions. When you carry mystery, you become memorable, not because you shouted louder than everyone else, but because there is a depth that begs to be explored. A mysterious person makes others work a little to understand them, and in that effort, fascination grows. It is the unspoken promise that there is always more to learn, more to admire, more to experience. Mystery encourages patience, respect, and genuine engagement from those around you because they sense that your life is not a performance designed for approval, but a journey of substance that they are invited to witness if they are willing to step closer. The power of mystery also lies in restraint. It is the ability to choose what to reveal and when, to share victories without boasting, to speak truths without over-explaining, and to maintain composure even in moments of chaos. It is the quiet confidence that allows you to exist fully without the constant need to justify, prove, or perform. And when this is combined with other qualities like confidence, self-worth, and emotional intelligence, the effect is transformative. People are not simply drawn to you. They are captivated, intrigued, and inspired to engage with the real you, piece by piece, layer by layer, always wanting to learn more. Emotional intelligence is the silent power that often goes unnoticed, yet it influences every interaction, every connection, and every impression we leave on others. It is the ability to feel deeply, understand genuinely, and respond thoughtfully. People with high emotional intelligence do not merely react. They observe, they listen, and they empathize. They have the capacity to sense the unspoken, to read between the lines of a conversation, and to meet others where they are emotionally. This is the quality that transforms ordinary interactions into meaningful connections, because it allows a person to communicate not just with words, but with understanding, patience, and heart. Emotional intelligence is not about manipulation or charm. It is about authenticity, awareness, and sensitivity to the feelings and needs of others, while maintaining your own boundaries and sense of self. When you approach relationships and conversations with this mindset, you become unforgettable, not because you impress someone with what you said, but because you touched them with how you understood and respected them. The beauty of emotional intelligence lies in its subtlety. It is in the way you notice the smallest details, the hesitation in someone's voice, the flicker of doubt in their eyes, the unspoken words behind a smile. It is in the patience you show when someone is struggling, in the gentle encouragement when they doubt themselves, and in the ability to provide space without withdrawing love or attention. People remember how you made them feel far more than what you said or did, and emotional intelligence allows you to create those lasting impressions effortlessly. It is the awareness that words alone are rarely enough, and that the emotions we convey through tone, gesture, and attentiveness are often more powerful than the most eloquent speech. When you master this, you no longer simply communicate, you resonate, and that resonance is magnetic. Emotional intelligence also teaches resilience and grace in the face of conflict. It allows you to remain composed when tensions rise, to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively, and to see situations from multiple perspectives rather than insisting on being right. This quality creates trust, respect, and admiration from those around you because people naturally gravitate towards someone who can navigate the complexities of human emotion with maturity and care. It is a rare strength and one that sets individuals apart in every sphere of life. While many chase attention through loud words or dramatic gestures, those who embody emotional intelligence hold a quiet, steady power that draws people toward them effortlessly. They are not easily shaken because they understand that every emotion, every reaction, and every interaction carries meaning. And when you approach life with that understanding, you exude a calm authority that others cannot ignore. Perhaps most importantly, emotional intelligence allows you to connect deeply without losing yourself. It is the balance between empathy and self-respect, between giving and receiving, between listening and speaking. It allows you to love fully, support wholeheartedly, and engage genuinely while remaining grounded in your own identity. When someone senses this balance in you, it becomes irresistible. They are drawn to your depth, your awareness, and the way you make them feel truly seen, truly understood, and truly valued. Emotional intelligence transforms relationships from superficial encounters into meaningful connections, and it does so quietly, without force or demand, leaving a lasting imprint that makes people come back again and again, eager to experience the authenticity and understanding that you bring into every interaction. There is a quiet power in consistency, a force that speaks louder than frantic efforts, grand gestures, or desperate attempts to capture attention. Too often, people mistake chasing for care, speed for devotion, or intensity for love. But the truth is, nothing that is fleeting, loud, or forced leaves a lasting mark. It is the steady, deliberate, and unwavering presence that creates trust, admiration, and desire. Consistency is the demonstration of your values, your intentions, and your integrity over time. It is waking up every day and showing up not because you need validation, but because you are committed to being reliable, authentic, and grounded. This is what sets apart those who are truly unforgettable from those who fade away after a moment of excitement. People notice when someone's actions match their words, when their promises are not just empty lines, and when their attention is steady rather than sporadic. There is a magnetic quality to reliability, and when combined with confidence, self-worth, and emotional intelligence, it becomes irresistible. Consistency is not monotony. It is not about doing the same thing every day without thought or effort. It is about showing up in a way that builds trust, respect, and connection, while still evolving, growing, and embracing your own life. It is the small, thoughtful gestures, the silent support, and the dependable presence that communicate care and authenticity far more than a flurry of dramatic actions ever could. When someone is consistent in their words and actions, they create a sense of safety and assurance for those around them. People are drawn to that because life is unpredictable, emotions are fragile, and the world is full of fleeting moments and broken promises. In a space where many rush, demand, or chase, consistency becomes rare and rarity becomes magnetic. Chasing, on the other hand, is born out of insecurity. It is loud, urgent, and exhausting for both the person chasing and the person being chased. It communicates neediness rather than value, dependence rather than authenticity, and it often drives people away rather than drawing them in. True presence comes from showing that you do not need someone's attention to exist, yet you choose to invest in them because it aligns with your values and intentions. This is the paradox of attraction. The person who is steady, grounded, and authentic is far more appealing than the person who chases, begs, or pressures. Consistency becomes a silent declaration of self-respect, emotional stability, and personal integrity. People notice it instinctively, even if they cannot articulate why it feels different, comforting, and magnetic. Consistency also reflects personal discipline and respect for time, both yours and theirs. It shows that you honor your priorities, follow through on commitments, and understand the importance of long-term effort over short-term attention. People are drawn to those who do not falter when things get complicated, who maintain their values even when it is inconvenient, and who act with purpose rather than reaction. There is a deep allure in someone who does not need to chase or prove themselves because they are secure enough to let their actions speak over time, creating a natural pull that draws others toward them with curiosity, admiration, and trust. The steady rhythm of consistency builds a foundation for meaningful connections, and it leaves a lasting impression that no fleeting chase can ever replicate. There is an undeniable allure in a person who is committed to personal growth, who invests time, energy, and intention into becoming the best version of themselves. Growth is not just about learning new skills or achieving external success. It is about evolving emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. It is about understanding your strengths, acknowledging your weaknesses, and working tirelessly to transform both. People are naturally drawn to those who are on a journey because the energy of evolution is contagious. A person who is constantly striving, improving, and challenging themselves radiates confidence, purpose, and inspiration. Their presence encourages others to reflect, to aspire, and to elevate themselves simply by observing the courage it takes to keep moving forward. Growth creates a magnetic energy because it is living proof that life is not stagnant, that the human spirit can rise above fear, doubt, and limitations, and that becoming extraordinary is always possible. Personal growth also requires self-awareness, the willingness to look within and confront your own flaws, fears, and patterns. It is a process that demands honesty, courage, and humility because it is easy to ignore growth when it is uncomfortable. Those who embrace it willingly step into the unknown, embrace challenges, and face setbacks with resilience. People are irresistibly drawn to this quality because it signals strength, maturity, and depth. It is different from superficial charm or temporary confidence. It is a profound magnetism rooted in the understanding that life is about constant evolution and that the energy you carry matters more than any outward appearances. Growth inspires respect, admiration, and curiosity because it communicates that you are someone who never settles, never stagnates, and never relies on others to define your journey. Another powerful aspect of personal growth is how it shapes your relationships and interactions. As you evolve, your boundaries become clearer, your communication becomes more effective, and your emotional intelligence deepens. You begin to attract people who resonate with your energy rather than your accomplishments, people who are drawn to the substance of your character rather than the facade you once wore to fit in. This is why personal growth is irresistible. It signals a life of purpose, intention, and authenticity. People are inspired by those who refuse to remain complacent, who challenge themselves and others in ways that elevate the world around them. It is the quiet confidence of someone who understands that they are a work in progress, yet fully capable, grounded, and inspiring in the present moment. Personal growth also manifests in the way you carry yourself daily, the habits you cultivate, the knowledge you pursue, the passions you chase, and the discipline you maintain. A person who invests in themselves creates an energy that is impossible to ignore. They become a living example of what is possible when dedication, self-respect, and ambition meet. Their life becomes a story worth following, a journey that others want to be part of, not because they are chasing attention, but because they have become someone worth admiring, respecting, and yes, even chasing in a figurative sense. Growth transforms not only the individual, but the way they touch the lives of those around them, leaving an indelible mark that draws people into their orbit naturally, effortlessly, and with genuine fascination.